Hi everyone, welcome to our first PowerPoint in Unit 1 of the semester. As I mentioned in the opening video, I'm going to be making videos like this throughout the semester where you have the pleasure of listening to me talk. And as I mentioned, each unit you're going to be reading at least one chapter of the textbook in addition to some other written material or videos that I post on Blackboard. And I'm not going to use these PowerPoints to just repeat what's in the textbook. That's for you to read. But I will use these PowerPoint presentations for an ability to highlight some of the key concepts that are in the book. So here we go. This is really just an introductory PowerPoint. So I just want to talk a little bit about this class. Clearly, it's called Law Office Management. And you are taking this class in an alternative to the internship class, which would give you an opportunity to work in a particular legal setting. So it's really important in this class that we focus on a discussion on how legal offices work. So we're going to talk about the law office generally, but we'll talk more specifically about where lawyers and paralegals can work. So think of this just more as a general discussion about a law office in general. We will also talk about your role as a paralegal and how that is different from the attorneys or lawyers in the law firm, how it's different from a legal secretary or a receptionist. And lastly, we will place a focus throughout the semester on your own transition into your career. I know that some of you in this class will graduate and be looking for a job in the legal profession right away. Some of you may not be looking for a position until later. Some of you may already be working in a legal environment. So you may be thinking, I'm not looking for a job right now, but you might be looking for that next job or that promotion. So we're also going to roll in a lot of discussion about transitioning from your education in paralegal and the legal studies into working in the field. So you'll see these themes throughout the entire semester. So obviously, one of the first places we have to talk about is the law office itself. And I decided to pull these images up from the internet. Although, again, as I mentioned, doing this class in the midst of a pandemic that is continuing is really interesting. Because I think if I ask you guys what images come to mind when you first think of a law office, these are some of the typical images. We see desks, we see, chairs that have a nice comfortable back. We see conference rooms where depositions could be held or possibly meetings with clients or witnesses. We see a law library because, of course, attorneys and paralegals are constantly researching the law. And we even see a kitchen, a break room. So these are some typical images of law offices. I'd venture to say a lot of times these days, we're also seeing the inside of somebody's home, bedroom, home office, basement, as it were, kitchen table, even backyard, as we all continue to work from home. So let's talk a little bit about where lawyers and paralegals work in general, not just the physical location. So we'll break these down to three primary categories. Law offices exist as part of a law firm, can exist within the government, and also can exist within private companies. When we talk about law firms come in every shape and size. You can have a law firm that consists of one single attorney. We generally call that person a solo practitioner if he or she runs their law practice and doesn't have another attorney partner with him or her. We call that person a solo practitioner. Law firms can also be multinational and span the globe and have 1,000 lawyers working for the same law firm with offices all over the world. And law firms come in every size in between. We'll talk more throughout the semester about what we mean by a law firm, but what we mean is a group, a single lawyer or group of lawyers that work together in an office where they deliver the job of providing legal advice to clients. And they work for themselves. They own the company and operate the company. And these law firms not only come in every size, but they focus on what we call different practice areas. You've probably already figured out through your courses in paralegal that there's a lot of subjects in the law. It's not like the law is just this one thing. Perhaps you took a class in family law, or you're taking that now. Maybe you've taken wills, trusts, and estates, criminal law, business organizations, real estate. All of these are called different practice areas. Some attorneys specialize in areas. There might be an attorney that specializes in will preparation or maybe probate administration. or real estate closings. And these attorneys and their law firms are generally focused in one practice area. Sometimes we call these firms boutique firms because they just focus on that one narrow area of law. Some law firms are more general, and you might see one attorney or groups of attorneys taking on matters that vary in subject matter. So this is important to think about when you think about entering the workforce. If you are really interested in one particular area of law, or maybe two areas of the law that really speak to you, you can narrow your job search to law firms that practice particularly in those areas so that you gain that experience. Lawyers and paralegals also work directly for the government, and this is true at both the state government level and the federal government level, hire attorneys. First, clearly the field of criminal law from the government perspective is all government employees. The attorney generals, the district attorneys, the prosecutors, those are all government jobs and government employees. Also, various administrative agencies hire attorneys and paralegals to work as well. And these are also specialized in an area of law. For example, maybe you would like to work in the field of employment law. You could work at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission or the Department of Labor in Washington, D.C., or you can work for the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination here in Massachusetts. So those are areas that also hire attorneys and paralegals, and your job is that you work for the government. Last but certainly not least, we also refer to attorneys as working in-house. In-house means that there is a company, a private company, not the government, that is large enough to want and to have its own in-house legal office, where the attorneys and paralegals work for that employer. So this is different than working for a private firm, like we mentioned above, that is then hired by that company. A really good example of this would be a large hospital. Hospitals have numerous legal matters, employment matters, real estate, contracting, all the regulations that go into regulating doctors and nurses are all matters that a hospital deals with. So the hospital, if it has legal matters, could choose to hire a law firm to do its legal work every single time a matter comes up. Or the large company, and again, I'm just using hospitals as the example, could choose to hire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 attorneys and paralegals to work directly for the hospital itself to do all that legal work. So again, something to consider when you're looking for a job. Regionally, here in Massachusetts, we have a lot of private companies that hire paralegals, and not just hospitals. We have pharmaceutical companies, life science companies, all kinds of businesses that you work directly for the company itself. So it's interesting because then your client, you really just have one client because you're working for the company itself, rather than when you're working for a law firm and you will work on multiple matters at the same time. Again, we will continue to talk about this throughout the semester. All right. So let's again go back to what we talked about at the beginning, which is now we have an idea about the different places where lawyers and paralegals work. Who's there and what do we need? Any law office, and again, we can talk about this whether we're in person in a physical law office or everybody's working remotely or some combination of the two. We need people to help run the business. And then we have, I guess I can call them physical needs, but we have needs. We need desks. We need computers and internet access. We need telephones to talk to our clients and the court. We need technology to run the law office. That's a modern day reality. We also need a library or access to a library, whether it be physical or online, where attorneys and paralegals can conduct legal research. So, and that in addition, we can also think about mail and stamps and photocopy machines. So there's a lot of needs a law firm or a law office needs to operate. And that is something else we will carry through the whole semester, is how we as paralegals can help support getting all of this up and running so that the lawyers can deliver the legal advice to the client and we can get the results that we want. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the people in the law office. Well, let's talk about attorneys. So attorneys, as you know, are also called lawyers. In the United States, we use this word interchangeably. Attorneys and lawyers mean the same thing. In order to be the attorney, there's a few requirements. Number one, attorneys have to have gone to law school. When an attorney graduates law school, she earns the Juris Doctor degree. We call that the JD. So that's like when you get your associate's degree, you can then earn a bachelor's degree, and then you can go to law school and you can earn the JD. Juris Doctor programs are 3 years. But even when a person graduates law school, she can't just hang out her shingle and start practicing law. We'll talk in another PowerPoint about the regulation of the legal profession itself. So we'll come back to that. But even in the law firm, we have different types of attorneys. We generally refer to the attorneys as being partners or associates. I deleted the word partner. It should say they are partner right next to the word supervise. The partner is a generic word for the attorney who is also an owner of the business. Just like we talk about partners in partnerships in the corporate context as being owners, the same thing is true here for partners in a law firm. A partner is someone who has an ownership interest in that law firm, usually the big boss too, or multiple bosses. So they share in the profits. The partners also do a supervisory role. They supervise the junior attorneys, who we call associates, and the paralegals. Again, if it's one single attorney in a solo practitioner law firm, then you're just yourself, you're the partner. But if there's multiple attorneys, some might be partners, some might be associates. So speaking of associates, that's generally what we refer to as a more junior attorney. Could be somebody right out of law school, could be somebody up to 5 to 10 years out of law school, depends on the law firm. But we have this expression in larger law firms called making partner, and that generally means that you've done your practice years as a junior or associate attorney for a number of years, and now you are considered senior enough to buy in and become an owner of the firm. So it's like a promotion to get to that point. So in addition to the attorneys, clearly we have others working in the law office. Oh, I forgot to mention one other. Sometimes we have attorneys that are referred to as of counsel. I just wanted to mention that an of counsel attorney is not an owner in the law firm like a partner, but usually is somebody that's not a junior person like an associate either. It's often a title given to a very senior associate before a partner, or it could be somebody who's coming to work for a law firm after some other significant legal experience, like working in the government or working in the private sector, and can bring a certain amount of experience and expertise and clients to a law firm, but not be an owner in that firm itself. But the of counsel isn't really going to be an associate junior attorney either. So I don't want to say it's somewhere in the middle, but it kind of depends on the firm. But if you have somebody that's of counsel in the law firm, they're usually in larger law firms, and it could be somebody who, again, has a lot of experience and seniority that they bring to the practice. Okay, well, I have a couple more slides here, but as I mentioned, these videos are limited to about 15 minutes. So I'm going to stop this video here, watch video number 2, where I will just finish off talking about the other critical employees that are in a law office, which are legal secretaries, and last but not least, of course, the role of the paralegal. So I'll see you on the next video.